folks, and welcome to In the Kitchen with Pete. Today's simple and delicious recipe is French onion soup. If you've watched my videos, you know I often encourage you to change things up, make it your own. Take things out that you don't like, put things in that you do like. I learned this recipe from my dad many years ago, and I've tweaked it along the way. Often I'm asked what type of onions to use. And I've found, out of experimenting over the years, I like to mix them up. If you're only going to use one, use a sweet yellow onion. But I like to use 2 sweet yellow onions, 1 white, and 1 red. Let's slice these up.
Well, she's an 8-fingered lady, diamond rings. Leave me in a moment for another man's things. It ain't easy living life the way I do.
You want them to end up about 1/4 of an inch thick. They're easy to separate, and they're kind of stringy like that. Now I know that looks like an awful lot of onions, but they're going to reduce. So I'm going to be using my heavy stock pot. I'm going to start off with 3 tablespoons of olive oil. My onions. Let's get cooking them. The onions are mixed well with the olive oil. They're all separated. We'll get that on a medium heat. We'll cover it. They'll reduce for about 20 minutes. You can see that they've reduced quite a bit. And now we're going to get to the browning stage. So for this, we're going to add just another about a teaspoon of olive oil and 1 teaspoon of sugar. This will help to brown up the onions. And 3 tablespoons of butter. We're going to get our heat up a little higher now. Now this is the important part. You must watch. You don't want to overdo them. You don't want to end up with black onions, but you have to be patient. It takes a while. So we're going to leave the lid off and just stir this every few minutes and keep a close eye on it. They will begin to stick on the bottom of the pot, and that's okay. Just use your wooden spoon to keep rubbing them off. And any pieces that get stuck on there, we'll deglaze that in a few minutes. We're about 10 minutes in now. You may want to use an oven mitt. When you're stirring constantly, it gets pretty hot in there. So this second step of browning the onions, they're all nice and golden brown now. For the last minute, I'm going to add a couple seasonings, 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of each salt and pepper, and some fresh garlic. This garlic is from my garden. We grow fresh garlic at my mother and father-in-law's, and use the fresh garlic for this. This is 3 cloves, finely diced. And we'll cook that in here just for 1 minute. Garlic burns very easily. Now our next step will be to add about 3/4 of a cup of white dry wine. You can see this helps get all the little bits off the bottom. And the last item before we add our stock, I'm going to add a teaspoon of flour. This will just give us a little bit of richness, a little thicker texture for our French onion soup. Now it's time to add the beef stock. 2 boxes, In Canada, you'll find the 900 mil, or in the US, it's 32 ounces. So 2 boxes of that. Now this is a low sodium, no salt added. It's really quite bland. But with all the flavors I've put in there, it'll be nice. And as far as the sodium level goes, I've only added 1 teaspoon of salt. But I am going to add some beef base. This is a little trick I use for, just gives your soups a little extra richness. You can tweak it at the end if you like, if you're not happy with putting this in. I'm just going to put about a teaspoon in. That'll enhance my beef flavor. It's a beef base. You can get it in chicken. It's a handy little thing to have in the fridge if you just want to tweak your soups and sauces. And then we're going to put 2 bay leaves in. I'm going to bring this to a boil. We'll let it simmer for 30 minutes and then it'll be time to serve it up. So here's what you're going to need to make that classic decadent French onion soup. I've got a cookie sheet that I cover with tin foil just for easy cleanup, an oven safe bowl, an English muffin, toasted. You can cut that up into little squares if you like, or you can just drop it right on top after. And then some fresh Swiss cheese. You can use Gruyere cheese. You can mix Gruyere and Swiss. I, however, go to the deli, get slices of fresh Swiss cheese, and I set them offset like so. And when I lay that over the top, you get that little bit of drizzle over the sides. It's perfect. And then I top that off with a little fresh grated Parmesan. So let's preheat the oven to broil, put this together, and get it in the oven. Well, I hope you enjoyed that recipe. Don't forget to subscribe to my videos on YouTube. You'll get notified every Monday when I put out a new recipe video. They're always simple and delicious. And I can't wait to get in and try this one. I gotta tell you, my mouth is watering over this one. I did let it cool down a bit. Oh boy. Wow. Beefy, cheesy, oniony. You're gonna love it. Well, thanks for coming out and watching In the Kitchen with Pete. Until next time, see ya.
It's a high fashion, gold sterling, waiting at the station for the next gravy train. And it easy, living life the way I do. Well, if you don't